Welcome to the 14th episode of this Building Interactive website series, where we'll go over string concatenation and interpolation, which are two new concepts. So as you can see here, I've created some simple code that basically makes it so that when I type some text in here, for example, hello, inside this input box, and then click on this submit button here, it takes the value of this text box, the text inside of it, and displays it in this paragraph down here. So if I click submit now, you can see the hello text is copied over to here. And we can type in any other text, so if we were to do hi instead, it would display hi. So firstly, let's go over how to concatenate strings together. What that means is put multiple strings and attach them together. So, for example, if I were to combine or concatenate hello and hey there in this way, then both of the text inside of them, of the two strings, would be consolidated, and we would be left with hello, hey there. And so we can change the way this works slightly so that the user has to type their name in here instead, and then give them a greeting down here. So firstly, we could say enter your name instead of enter some text to make it more clear. And then before the user's name, we can probably say hello and then an exclamation mark after their name. So we can type a string hello here, and then we can add a plus and then the name of the variable with the string inside of it, and then plus, and then an exclamation mark inside quotes. So as you can see, if I type Dr. R-Man in here, you can see this is what's printed out. Now you might notice that there's no spacing between the name and the hello right here. And that's because the plus operator just squishes the text together. It doesn't control spacing or anything like that. So in order to add a space, I have to manually do it. So as you can see, I added a space after hello, and if I were to type my name again, you can now see that there's a space properly inserted. You can also concatenate strings with numbers. So as you can see, if I were to do input string, which is the name of this, of the content inside this text box, plus 50, then you can see if I were to type some text, you can see 50 gets appended to the end of the string. However, if I were to do plus another number, let's say plus 1, and if I were to type in test again, you can see it's test and then 50 and then 1. Each of the numbers gets appended individually. However, if we were to move 50 plus 1 to the start, then you can see the numbers get added up and then this string gets appended to the end of that. And so the reason why this behavior when it's at the start and it's at the end is different is because string concatenation has exactly the same precedence or precedence in the order of operations as addition for numbers. So in this case, 50 plus 1 gets evaluated first, so that's 51, and then plus the input string, which just appends this text to the end. However, when it was plus 50 plus 1, and it appended 501 to the end, it firstly added 50 to the input string, which resulted in a new string just with 50 appended to the end of it. So it was a new string. And since we're adding this string to another number, it creates another new string. Meaning, because a string plus a number is a string, each of the numbers gets appended individually. And this is made even clearer when you do it in steps like this. So if I were to type in test, you can see test 50 comes up. And then we can create a new variable called output2, for example. And then it can be output plus 1. And now you can see this results in a string, and this also results in a string. So there are no actual numbers being added here. This means that for subtraction, if you were to subtract 1 from this string, then you can see if we type in test, you can see it results in not a number because a number can't be subtracted from a string and vice versa. However, if we try multiplication or division, then, and even without the parentheses, you can see the multiplication gets handled first. So that's why it's 250 and it doesn't result in an error. And same with division. So it evaluates 50 divided by 5 first, which is 10, and then it's appended to the end of this string here. If you want addition at the end of the string to be handled before it's actually appended to the end of this string, then you can make use of parentheses to force the arithmetic to be evaluated first. So as you can see, now it's calculating 50 plus 1, 51, and then appending it to the end. And same goes for subtraction. Going back to that name example, you can see that this notation with the plus signs in between each of the strings can be kind of confusing, especially if it's an even larger string with even more concatenated values. And a way to fix this is by using interpolation. And the way you perform interpolation is by using backticks instead of quotes. and backticks are at the top left corner of your keyboard. So backticks, just by themselves, if you just use them for text, they work exactly the same as regular strings. So I typed hello in here. This would work the exact same way if the hello was in quotes, but the power of this backtick strings, which are called template literals officially, are that you can put placeholders inside which can contain data. And the way you add a placeholder is by first using a $sign and then two or a pair of curly braces like this, similar to what encompasses the event handler here, except all in one line. And you can type in the name of a variable or another string or another piece of data. So in this case, I'm just going to do input str to get the name. So if I were to type name in here, you can see it works exactly the same as before. But the benefit of this method is that it's slightly more intuitive to understand because the pluses can be pretty distracting, and this notation makes it slightly clearer. We can also put a math equation in here. So if we were to do 56 plus 1, for example, then it would say 57, because 56 plus 1 is evaluated first. And you can think of these curly braces as just another way to put parentheses. These basically ensure that this expression inside is evaluated first and then appended inside the string. For now, this concludes the Building Interactive Website Series, episode 14. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to look out for episode 15, which will go over more string-related concepts.